Okay guys, this is what we're doing today. Pour this little sidewalk here, stampcrete, and then this patio. Gonna stamp it. We got wire, we got rebar, every 3 feet. We got some chairs underneath it. Kind of squished the chairs down a little bit because the mesh was pretty high towards the top of the concrete. I didn't want that, so I don't want it popping up through here. So we got our form out here. What we did is we put a couple of 2x on there, 2x4s. I Tapcon the first one in there, and then I screwed the second one to it. This gives you this 3 inches of overhang from your blocks. And we kicked all these out. We put like a 2x8 on the outside of that. This end's a 2x10 because it's a 2x12. Just hangs down lower because the concrete's pretty thick up there. There's quite a taper to this, so up there it's thicker, so 2x8 wasn't going to cut it. So that's what we did. We built this retaining wall a week or so ago. You can't really see it that good with the form on there, but I got a video on us doing that retaining wall. So that's what we're doing. We're gonna pour this about 3:30. It's pretty sunny out. It's not terribly hot, but it is kind of sunny. We plastic off everything just because we got a pool here. We had to cover the pool. That's what we're doing today. I'll try to get some video footage for you guys on how we did this and how we're gonna stamp it. We're using Ashler Slate stamps. So we're putting the color in now, guys. We're using a black. Try dumping it in, washing it down. How much did you lose? Greg, did you lose a lot of it? Greg, did you lose a lot of it?
No, not a lot.
Alright, there's a big pile on the ground here. We're going to run down through here. There's some tubing underneath here, so we don't want to disturb the tubing. We're going to use a track buggy and do half of it with a track buggy, and then we're going to try to get the truck around back to pour the other half. We'll do this side first because it's in the shade, then we'll hit that sunny side, and then we'll do this sidewalk too. Mix it a while so that the color gets in there good. Hey guys, Bondo here. So I'm going to walk you through a project we just finished up for my neighbor. We poured him it was 17 by 27 patio, and there was a 13 foot by like 6 foot curved walkway, sidewalk up in the front here. He'd taken out some concrete in this area that failed. It was quite old, and it didn't work out very good. It heaved on them, had some clay and stuff under there. So we built a retaining wall, and I did a video on that retaining wall, but that's the first part of this project. Like I said, you can watch that other video if you're interested in how we did that. But then we poured up this patio on top of it. So this is me and the guys here just raking out the concrete. This concrete is 4,000 pound concrete. We didn't have any fibers or nothing in it. We had rebar and wire mats down. The rebar's on a 3 foot grid and the wire, and then we had chairs underneath it like I showed you in the beginning here. So we had, there was some tubing underneath this section that my son Jason's running the track buggy, and he's just driving over some plywood and some boards and stuff that we put down to protect the radiant tubing, because the homeowner put some radiant tubing in there to do some snow melting, and then there's a drain there right by the edge. There's a trench drain, so that should be pretty nice how that's going to work out. So that's why we did it like this, guys. We used the track buggy and we tried to do like half of it, and then we're able to pull the truck around back and hit the second half. So this is what we did. Filled it in. We dumped out quite a bit of it, and this is 10 and a quarter yards to do this project, so quite a lot of concrete to be putting down. and stamping. So if you stay with us on the video here, you'll see us stamp this thing. I'll try to tell you how we did the stamping. It's an Ashler slate pattern. We put like a gray powder release, a charcoal release, and we put a gray integral color in the concrete. And this is 4,000 pound concrete, like I said. Doesn't have any water reducer or nothing in it. We poured this job fairly late in the day so that the sun wouldn't beat it up too bad. So we still had to hustle though. I mean, this is a big piece of stampcrete to put down. So, 10 and a quarter yards with that square footage. We still had to move. There we are, me and Greg putting the wet screed in, guys, and I got the power screed here. I like to use that as much as I can. It knocks the stones down, gives you a nice cream on top that you can work with. It's good for stamping. I like to get those stones down off the surface. This slab did have a slight pitch to it from the front to the back, but it wasn't very much. So it wasn't like we were pulling concrete down the hill there. I tried to do most of it side to side. So we poured it probably about a 6 lump. So it wasn't real. It was about a 5.5 to 6 lump. It wasn't real loose. So it stayed put when we vibra-screeded it, and it worked out pretty good. So this driver was real good. He filled it right in for us. On the second half, you can tell he knows what he's doing with that front loader truck. We're hitting the edges here. That's me on the edges. My son Jason jumped in here. He's the big dude. And Greg's there raking also. And we just rake this thing out. Here's where we're putting another wet screed in. We didn't need to use a laser because that wet screed, the screed is 16 foot and the slab is 17 foot across, so we could just reach across. And if you do use a laser, obviously you got to set it for the pitch because there's different heights here, so we'd have to set that. And here I am just vibra-screeding across there again. I'll turn and hit the edge and then zip down the middle. So here we are just finishing it up, guys. You always want to leave a hole when you're pouring like this. You don't want to have the driver fill it all the way in because then you end up with concrete left over and you got to shovel it out. I don't like to do that, so I always try to leave a little bit of a hole for myself to finish off in. That's what the guys are doing here. They're just cleaning the chute out. We try to get that chute clean for the driver, without having him fill up that chute and then he's got a bunch of concrete we got to get rid of or put somewhere. So that's how we do that. So guys, if you're new to this channel, my name's Ron Bond. I have a company called Bondo Built Construction. My friends call me Bondo, so that's why my company's called Bondo Built. We do a lot of this kind of stuff and try to put as much of it as we can on YouTube. We do concrete all summer long. We do Nudura foundations. We do a lot of our own small excavation work. I have several pieces of smaller excavation equipment, so we try to put a lot of the prep work on there. But like I said, we build the Nudura basements, the ICF basements, and we do the stampcrete, sidewalks, pool decks, patios, all kinds of stuff like that. In the wintertime, we fix up houses. I try to show you some tips and tricks on that. I've put together well over 100 videos now, guys, so if you could, check out my channel, and if you like it, hit the subscribe button. And if you like this video, hit the like button. That's going to help me out a lot. I'm doing pretty good on YouTube. I've been doing it just over a year. So anything like that's going to help me. You got any comments, throw me a comment, something that you like or that you do different than we do. I can learn from it as well as you can learn from it a lot of times. I learn from some of the comments people give me all the time. So that'll help me out a lot. Thanks. So back to the pour, guys. We're just doing this front sidewalk now. We just filled it in, and I'm just pulling it off with a 2x6. We magged the edges, and we're just pulling it across with the 2x6, flattening it out. We don't, like I said earlier, we don't like to get ahead of ourselves and put too much in there, so we left a little hole on the corner there, and Greg's raking it off. I'm pulling it out. Jason and Greg are just filling that little hole. And then we're going to mag it off by hand. You can see they'll shovel a little bit in. Jason put a couple shovels full in there in the low spot for me. That's pretty much how we poured it out. And then once you get it poured out, you got to start watching it. You know, we're gonna hit it here in a minute with the bow float. My buddy John showed up and started helping out here with the bow float work. And I got what's called a funny float. It's just a small. There's John doing the bow floating. He bow floats in both directions, guys. He went side to side and then he went lengthwise with it. So that kind of flattens it out. And there's Tom, the homeowner. He jumped in with his trowel and started helping us out. He was a lot of help on this project. He's real handy. There's John again, bow floating. And I think I'm going to grab that funny float. Yeah. No, John's bow floating at first. And then I'm going to hit it with the funny float. The funny float is kind of a new tool to us. It's kind of nice. It's just like a long mag. You can put a handle on. It's got a swivel on it, and it's adjustable. It's a real nice tool. It's made by Kraft, and I like that tool. Like I said, it's new to us. You don't have to get out there and do a lot of kneeboard work. You don't really have to do any kneeboard work if you can reach everything with that funny float. So it saves you a lot of, knee work's no fun. It's hard on the body. You try to avoid it. And there's we're just edging the slab there, and then here we are starting to stamp the thing. Obviously there was a time gap there. It probably was maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes, and we started. I didn't video stamping that front sidewalk, but that's actually the first thing we did was stamp the front sidewalk, and then we jumped back here, and we're using a charcoal powder release here, and you sprinkle it on with a brush, and we're smacking it down with that tamper. That's a hand tamper that's specially made for doing Stampcrete. And I got some bigger shoes on that slip over your shoes that are made for doing Stampcrete, so you don't leave foot tracks in there. Those are real nice. The video is you can't really see the video here just for a second, guys. It's the sun shining on it. I apologize. Yeah, that's a little better. So here we are moving along. This set of stamps, like I said, is Ashler Slate stamps. I borrowed them from a friend of mine. Actually, I borrowed from Pat, who he runs the pump truck for Vitali. He's a friend of mine now. We actually trade back and forth our stamps because I have a different set than he is. I have a seamless set, and he has these Ashler Slates. So these Ashler Slates he bought there's 6 of them, and there's 6 rigid, and there's 1 floppy stamp, and there's a texture mat. The floppy stamp is the same size as the other ones, but it's real flexible, so you can put it up against the house and stuff. I think here, right here, I'm going to be using it here in a minute, I think. Yeah, right there. See how it flexes, guys? You can bend it. You can get up against your building and it'll bend. And that texture mat is nice right there. I'm using the texture mat to fix a spot. That's just like a really thin skin, and all it's got is the texture of the same texture that's on the Ashler Slate stamps, but no lines. And then we also used a tool. Greg's got a tool in his hand there. Greg's in the brown shirt. It's it looks like a pizza cutter. And that little tool, you can roll the lines on it. Like I said, it's the same exact thing as a pizza cutter, except it's more rounded on the edge. And that tool is specially made for Stampcrete. We actually put a adjustable paint handle on it, so you can reach out and roll some of the lines, because sometimes you'll get a little squeeze out when you're tamping. Some of the fat will squeeze up in between the stamps, so that's what Greg was doing. My son Jason, he did a good job just making sure that everything, if we didn't see something, he's good at quality control, so he would show us if something didn't look quite right. We could touch it up, because once you get past it, it's hard to touch it up. That was me using the floppy stamp on the edge. We're just coming down the pipe here, finishing up. You can see these stamps, how they lock together. They kind of go at an angle. And that's how we stamped this piece of concrete, guys. came out real nice. I hope you liked the video, and I hope it helps you out with your project. If you got any questions on any of this, how we did it, or anything to add, hit me up on here. Like I said again, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button for me, and hit that like button. I really appreciate that. That helps me out more than you guys know. My channel's doing really well, like I said, and thanks everybody for watching, and I'll definitely catch you on the next video, guys. Thanks.
Got her done, boys. Got a little dusty, maybe. What do you think, Nate? Nate's a little dusty. 10.5 yards.
Well,
All right.
thought that was Big Biscuit.
Looks like retaining wall, stampede on top. Not pretty nice. We gotta seal it, yeah. Just washing things up for it. Kind of matches the pool that gray.